Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to all.
Morning, Prof.
Okay, so today we continue with new topic, chapter 9 in your syllabus. Okay, okay, for the assignment that you submitted, okay, so I haven't gone through them yet, okay, but bear in mind, okay, so that one is still work in progress, the draft, okay, so the final version that is due, I think sometime in January, okay, I can't remember the exact date. Okay, so that will be the final version. So basically the draft that you send is just okay, to make sure that you are on track. Okay, you have progress. I mean, you have done something towards completing the assignment. Okay, of course there is no mark will be given on the draft. Okay, the final the marks will be awarded based on or evaluated based on the final version of your assignment. Okay, so but I will go through them, okay, and see if there are any issues or concern that I will need to raise on group by group basis. Okay, so for today, okay, we continue on topic number 9 on measuring GDP. Okay, so the last class we already finished topic number 8 on unemployment and inflation. Okay, so for this lecture, uh, we'll be using both of the slides that I uploaded in your OL, okay, by one is from Arnold and the other one is from the other classes from the one that I took from Dr. Wan Roshida's slide. Okay, so we will go through both of them, we will from time to time, I mean, I will use both, okay, depending on which slide that is easier to follow and understand. Okay, so basically what we okay, at the end of this topic number 9, okay, that we hope to finish by this Thursday, okay, because basically 1 week, one topic, okay, that's how the syllabus is designed. I mean, there's plenty of topics, basically around 14 topics, okay, so to be completed in 14 weeks of lecture. So that's why we cannot really afford to miss many classes. Okay, okay. So for topic 9 is all about GDP. Okay, measuring GDP, the purpose of measuring GDP, and then the different type of method. Okay, to measure in computing GDP. So and even I'm sure. I mean, in my group TE, many of you are not from economic course. Okay, but somehow or somewhere or another, you have heard the word GDP mentioned before, especially in news. Okay, or online portals. Okay, especially now during COVID-19. Okay, where the economic impact of COVID-19 is very damaging to the economy. Okay, so the indicator that to measure the health of the economy is one of the common measure or is GDP or economic growth. Okay, so when you talk about economic growth, okay, the most commonly used indicator to measure the size of the economy, whether the economy is growing or not growing, is in recession or in booming period. So it's all based on, most of them are based on GDP. Okay. So at least after the end of this topic, when, okay, if you watch news or you read articles, online articles, okay, so you can appreciate how or you can understand better, okay, what is the purpose of or what is GDP, what is GDP growth, okay, what is real GDP, nominal GDP, and the different methods to calculate GDP. Okay, so under the national income account, okay, so just like any company which have their balance sheet or their account, okay, a country also has its own account, which what we call as national income account. Okay, so the purpose is to evaluate the performance and for the government, for the central bank, okay, to come up with policies, okay, to find to improve the economy. So based on the balance sheet, okay, we can know whether we have what is our asset, what is our liability, and at the end of the day, okay, at what is the state of the economic health, okay, whether the country, the economy is growing, okay, any area that need further improvement, okay. So what is so the key concepts that we're gonna discuss further, okay, is of course the word gross domestic product, okay, or GDP, okay, and then the gross national product, GNP, okay, and then both at whether at market price or at factor cost. Okay, so the most commonly used term is GDP. Okay, so of course you can go through the slides. Okay, so I hope actually before we start any lecture, okay, each and every one of you should go through the slides. Okay, both slides which are uploaded in your OL so that you can get some rough idea what the lecture will be about. Okay, rather than looking at the slide for the first time. And if and then just Google on YouTube, okay, on the key concepts or whatever things that now most of the stuff that you learn this semester are all available on YouTube, because subject like principle of economics are a common subject, okay, throughout many universities around the world. So you will find many tutorial, many lectures, okay, explaining on the things that we will be discussing today. So, and especially now with the online assessment, I mean the online method of learning, whereby most of the learning, okay, must be done by the student themselves. Okay, so you, especially on the for principle of economics, okay, by now you had 2 tests, okay, and you know that the kind of tests or questions that can come out sometimes it's not exactly the same, or because most of the questions are, some are I mean concept, some are applied questions, so you cannot rely on the lecture notes 100% because it doesn't really give much in terms of the understanding on the concept. So that's why you need to rely on other sources beside the PowerPoint slides. Okay, so GDP, the keyword here is the total, the value, okay, the value of goods and services produced within within a within a country, meaning you only count those produced within the country border. Okay, if you look at the definition from the other slide, okay. Okay, GDP, the market value of total worth final goods and services produced annually within a country borders. So meaning is if in the case of Malaysia, so the GDP of Malaysia are all products, the final goods. Okay, the word final means finished goods. Okay, not inputs. Okay, not intermediate inputs, but finished good meaning goods that can be used directly. Okay, within a country borders. Okay, so that is what GDP. Okay, but if you compare GDP versus GNP, okay, gross national product versus gross domestic. So the different term is domestic versus national. Okay, so national means the market value of final goods and services produced during a given period by all factors of production owned by country citizens. So this can be locally, meaning in Malaysia, and also outside Malaysia, as long as it is owned by the Malaysian citizen. So as long as the goods and services are owned by Malaysians, okay, even though the asset or the goods and services are produced outside Malaysia, let's say in Singapore, Thailand, or any other countries in the world, okay, so that will be counted, that will be used to measure GNP. But for GDP, anything that is produced within Malaysia, and it can be by local or non-local, meaning it can be from investment from China, investment from the European countries, okay, products produced by factories, Japanese factories in Malaysia. So those will be counted as GDP. Okay, but because it's the main concern is within a country, so it can be produced uh, by Malaysian or non-Malaysian, as long as the goods and services are produced in Malaysia. Okay, so that's why GDP is usually more than GNP, because GDP calculates, okay, goods and services not only by the Malaysian citizen but also by foreign. Okay, and then when GDP is your, and usually the difference between this is what we call the net factor earning from abroad. Okay, because whatever income that is owned by Malaysian outside Malaysia, okay, so we can see the difference between both as the the net factor earning from abroad. Okay, so and we have the two, one is by market price, okay, and the other one by factor cost. Okay, so this one is we're not going to discuss too much in detail, okay, but we're going to see the calculation, because if you look at this concept now, you might be a bit confused. Okay, so this again, okay, GDP versus GNP. Okay, so what GDP is and what is GNP. Okay, so GNP, as I mentioned just now, produced by citizen in economy in a specified period. So the word period mean, if you compare to this slide, okay, it mentions annually, okay, but GDP can also be calculated not only annually but also quarterly, meaning every 3 months. Okay, every 3 months. Okay, so in 1 year we have 4 quarters. We got 12 months. If you divide by 3, okay, meaning we have 4 quarters: Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Okay, so Q1 means from January to March. Q2 means from April to June, April, May, June. Okay, Q3 or quarter 3 from July to July, August, September. Okay, so for 3 months, and then the remaining 3 months, October, November, December, will be for Q4. Okay, the fourth quarter. So if you read report sometime, I mean, because to wait 1 year is a bit too long. Okay, so a country will also produce the value of GDP quarterly basis. So if you add the 4 quarters, you get the one whole year value. Okay, so why do you need a quarterly GDP compared to 1 year? Because you can see the progress of a country every 3 months, rather than you have to wait 1 year and to see whether the country is growing or not growing. Okay, what are the problems, or what are the strength of an economy? So you can evaluate the performance not only at annual basis, but also at quarterly basis every 3 months. That's why the term here is in a specified period, meaning usually the period can be quarterly every 3 months or yearly every year. Okay, so every year means, okay, you compare this year versus last year. Okay, but quarterly meaning you compare this year quarter versus last year quarter, but the measurement must always be in 1 year basis. If you want to say, when you talk about economic growth or GDP growth, the word growth means the changes must be 1 year. Okay, so if you talk about annual GDP, 2020 compare against 2019. So the value of GDP in 2020, we still have around 9 days to go, okay, until we finish 2020. Okay, so the whole year of 2020 good and services, okay, the value of good and services for 2020 will be compared against 2019 value of goods and services, and then the whether the value increase or decrease, that will be the economic growth for 2020. Okay, so the same thing, but for GMP is anything produced by the citizens, so it can be in Malaysia and also outside Malaysia. Okay, and then you have net domestic product. Okay, this, so the one that we usually use is GDP, gross domestic product. Okay, but the word gross is in Malay kasar lah. Okay, but then if you take net, meaning the word net refers to you take into account depreciation. Okay, so the word depreciation, I think for accounting student, this is quite common. Depreciation means if you use for example, your car, if you buy a car today, okay, or this year, let's say you buy a Produa Myvi that costs, let's say, 55,000 ringgit. Okay, and after 1 year, okay, after the car is has been used for one year, the value will depreciate, meaning reduce in value. Okay, because of the wear and tear. Okay, the market value. So depreciation is that is after the you take into account the reduction in the value, meaning the value in the first year will not be the value in the second year will be less compared to the first year because of after you use the machines. Okay, after you use the building or after you use the vehicle, so the value will decrease. So that what depreciation is. So the word net, okay, is basically similar to gross, but you take into account depreciation of capital goods. Okay, capital goods means like factory, machines, vehicles, okay, that will reduce in value. Okay, so that is net national, net domestic product, sorry. Okay, so gross domestic product versus net domestic product. So the word net basically is after you take into account depreciation. Okay, so the word depreciation is the keyword that you need to understand. Okay, or faham lah. Okay, at this point. Okay, and then also you have net national product. Okay, so the word net again is you take into account depreciation of capital goods. Okay, so whether it is gross domestic product or gross national product, so when you change from gross to net, okay, net domestic product and net national product, so both are after you take into account depreciation of capital goods. Okay, but for GDP is within a country border, GNP is owned by citizens whether inside or outside Malaysia. Okay, so that is the concept that the first concept that you need to understand. Okay, second is personal income. Okay, personal income. Okay, do not get confused with your income as an individual. Okay, at country basis, because our topic is about national income account. So for one whole country. So when you mention about personal income, okay, basically the word personal income is the income of households, okay, plural, not singular, meaning all citizens in the country. Okay, that the amount of income that is obtained, okay, or earned by the citizens, okay, after you deduct. So okay, personal income is national income minus tax. Okay, corporate tax, transfer payment is something like subsidy. Okay, you get for example contribution or bantuan, okay, donation from other countries. Let's say during COVID-19 we received some extra from cash aid from other country to help the country to recover from any economic problem. So that will be transfer payment. Okay, bantuan or subsidies or cash aid. Okay, so personal income is national income minus the amount of income that household actually receive. So this is basically the definition. Okay, so topic like this, okay, when it comes to your test, okay, usually it comes in term of, it will appear in term of definition. Okay, so if you have any problem, just go back to the slide, okay, and then okay, you can go back and see what is the actual concept or term. Okay, uh, when you compare personal income definition versus disposable income. Okay, disposable income is, this one is at individual basis, meaning one person at a time. Okay, so when you talk about disposable income, you're talking about personal income by one person minus tax. For example, if I'm talking about my own disposable income, is the income that I get as a lecturer, okay, minus whatever tax that I need to pay to the government on annual basis. So that will be my disposable income. Okay, income after tax. So do not get confused with personal income and disposable income. Okay, and then we have okay, so okay, there are three methods to calculate GDP. Okay, so you need to pay attention on this. Okay, because there's a lot of questions, or that can be asked on these three methods. Okay, because when you talk about GDP, okay, the definition is the value of final goods and services, okay, produced within a country border, okay, in a specific period. So that is the GDP definition. But how do you calculate them? Okay, there are three methods to calculate: expenditure, income, and value-added approach. Okay, so I think one of the most common approach will be expenditure approach, meaning it's based on the money spent. Okay, the word expenditure is perbelanjaan lah, okay, or expenses. So, and the total amount of money spent by buyers on final goods and services, okay, will be based is what expenditure approach is about. Income, okay, so if expenditure is what you spend, income approach is based on what is earned, okay, wages, interest, rent, profits. Okay, so if you compare between these are, I think, the most common approach that you will find in any economic report of any country. Okay, usually it will be based on these two: expenditure approach or income approach. Income is whatever earned by the citizens. Okay, or I mean, not only by Malaysian but also, for example, you have foreign expatriates. Okay, orang asing. Foreign laborers, okay, foreign lecturers, foreign workers working in Malaysia. So it does not, because the keyword is GDP within a specified within a country border. Okay, so the salary can be earned not only by Malaysian but also non-Malaysian, as long as they get their wages from Malaysian in Malaysia. So the income earned is wages, interest, profits. So the profit can be the profit earned by Malaysian company and also profit earned by multinational companies. For example, Japanese company, the factories in Malaysia, okay, or Korean companies operating in Malaysia, Samsung, Hyundai, okay, or any European companies, factories operating in Malaysia. So they also can make profits. Okay, so whatever profits earned by these companies, foreign companies in Malaysia, is all part of the income approach. So expenditure is money spent by buyers, okay, on final goods. Okay, so the keyword, one of the important word here is on final goods, okay, and also money spent. Okay, so but for income, the word income is income earned. Okay, so then the third method, okay, is based on value added. So what is value added? Value added is basically if you go to a factory, for example, that produce television, for example, an LCD TV. Okay, so there are various stages before you can reach the final stage of the production line until you can see a complete TV set produced. So it may start from the frame of the TV, the LCD component, the motherboard, the chip, the processor, whatever. So at various stages, when you go to one stage to another stage in the production, okay, from the from the input, okay, and then you go to the manufacturing. So value added is approach. Okay, you add the value added at each stage of production of all goods and services. Okay, so the value added approach is a bit more. It's a bit more complex to for us to see how the calculation is done, because this is from the production side. Okay, but for expenditure and income approach, I think is a bit easier for us to understand the process, because this is uh, the income for expenditure approach is money spent by people. Okay, income approach, okay, the income earned by people or factory or companies. Okay, but value added approach, this is from the production side. So we do not, but meaning that for public people, for most people or for public people, we don't really see this process, because this is is from the supply side, okay, of the so the this process, or so how the country or the person who uh, I mean when you have people, okay, so perhaps the factories, okay, we need to report, okay, what are the value added from one stage of production to another stage of production. Okay, so for example, if you go, before you go and buy, for example, your vegetable in the grocery store like in Tesco or any other supermarket. Okay, so from the early stage, from the farm, okay, until you reach the final stage of where the product, before the product actually reach the grocery store like Tesco. So the process in between, okay, from the farm, okay, and then you send to the wholesaler, and then you pack into a box, nice box, and then you wrap, whatever stages, okay. So the value added from the bahan mentah, from the raw material until before you reach the final stage will be used to calculate the value added approach. Okay. Okay, so the GDP identity. GDP expressed as total income will be equivalent to GDP expressed as total spending. So what this means is that, if you recall here, okay, the money spent will be equal to the income earned. So this is what the identity means lah. Okay. So this circular flow of income, meaning from business to household. Okay, so everything evolve or goes around in the, okay, because you can see here, okay, expenditure approach and income approach, they are all interrelated. So that's why you have this identity here. Total income earned will be equivalent to the total spending. So whatever that you earn is what must be equal to what you spend lah. Okay, so that's why the circular flow of income, okay, you can see that households spend and then goes to business and then goes to resource and then household income, wages, interest. So you can see that this circular flow of income, the interaction between businesses and household, okay, from consumer spending, okay, and then the income. So you can see the income approach versus the expenditure approach. So expenditure is what you spend, income is what you earn. So what the household earn from working will be spent also. So it's like a continuous process. Okay, so that's why I mentioned just now. The two most common approach to calculate GDP are these two lah. Okay, expenditure and income. Okay, so as long as you know the different methods, the definition, what are the components, okay, to calculate this GDP approach, so that will be sufficient, okay, for your understanding of this topic. Okay. Okay, so what's not included in GDP? Okay, so when you say national income account, okay, so there are certain components in the country that is not included in the GDP calculation. And this could be, for example, non-market goods and services such as chores performed by family members. For example, if you help your family to do business, but okay, you don't take salary from them, you just, you just help your family to run a business. So that will not be counted as your uh, an economic activity. Okay, underground activities such as pasaran gelap, okay, black market, okay, gambling, and also sales of used goods. Uh, for example, if you sell your used item online, okay, for example, in the UK, for example, or in the US, you have the eBay websites. In Malaysia, eBay is not popular. Okay, and especially for used item, we don't buy and sell used item the way that the European or the Americans do on eBay or any other auction website. Okay, uh, when I was doing my PhD, okay, in the UK, okay, we use eBay very frequently. Okay, because it's not only to buy new product but also to buy second-hand items, because second-hand items on eBay are not the one that you I mean, sometimes they just use for a few months or a few days, but they decide to let go. So you might get very good product, okay, second-hand product, but at almost new product, but at a very discounted price. Okay, but so the purchase and or the sale of goods as used good or second items are not also counted as part of. I think in Malaysia, the most popular website for second item is Mudah, okay, mudah.my, okay, which is the website where you can post your items, okay, and then you can advertise your goods, okay, barang untuk dijual, good for sale, okay. So whatever that you receive money from used item is not part of the national income account, okay. Financial transactions such as trading stocks and bond, this is also not included. Government transfer payment as payment to person that is not goods and services currently supplied, such as social security. So this is also not counted. Okay, leisure time. Okay, okay. So this is I do not want to go one slide every slide in much detail. So we just focus on the main things that we usually that you will normally be tested in the test. Okay, I'm not saying that you only learn this just to pass the test. Okay, but there are many things to discuss actually on the topic of GDP. Okay, but at this basic level of principle of economics, okay, especially for non-economic students. So what is important is you can grasp the idea, or you can understand the basic idea of what GDP is for, the method, the general, I mean, the common methods to calculate them. Okay, and then okay, and then the difference between the three methods that is used to calculate the GDP. Okay, so if you move to this slide here, identify and explain the three approach to computing GDP. We mentioned just now, there are three methods: the expenditure approach, the money spent; income approach, the income earned; and value added. Okay, approach meaning the value added at each stage of production. Okay, but the most common one are the first two, income and expenditure approach. Okay, so here, ways to compute expenditure approach: add the amount of money spent by final goods and services. Do not count intermediate goods. Okay, so this is important because this method only based on final goods and services. Okay, it does not take into account, you cannot count intermediate goods. Intermediate goods means goods that are inputs for production of final goods, meaning For example, if you recall the TV, the LCD TV, for example, LCD screen is not a complete, it's not a TV set. Okay, so it's an intermediate good. So you cannot put the LCD screen, okay, as final goods, because that is input in order to produce an actual or final TV, okay, product. Okay, so do not count intermediate goods, okay, ataupun bahan, not to say bahan mentah, okay, but we call it inputs in production. Okay, so this is to avoid double counting. So if you add the LCD as one component, as one good, and then the TV itself as one good, because the TV itself also include the LCD screen as part of the value. So you are doing double counting. Okay. So the keyword here is it only take into account final goods and do not add intermediate goods. Okay. So the formula that we usually use, this is the main one. GDP is equivalent to C plus I plus G plus X minus M, which is net export. Okay, X minus M is what we call net export. Okay, C is consumption, I is investment, G is government spending. Okay, and then plus net export, meaning export is plus, M is negative, meaning if we produce our whatever that we export overseas, okay, that we produce in Malaysia, and then for export market, we sell to Japan, we sell to Singapore, we sell to China. So whatever that we sell to foreign countries is called export. Whatever that we import from other countries to Malaysia, for example, we import BMW, we import goods from China, for example, into Malaysia. Okay, whenever you buy goods from Shopee.com, okay, or any other website, or we import stuff that we as long as we import goods and services from other countries, okay, that is not produced in Malaysia, that is a negative value. So net export is a plus, import is a negative, meaning because import money goes out, okay, export money comes in. When you sell the product to overseas, okay, the people from other country need to pay to Malaysia. So you get money from export. But when you import, we need to pay the country for the import that we buy. So import money goes out, okay, export money comes in. So when you say net export, if the export is higher than import, this value will be positive. If export is less than import, this value will be negative. So the word net export is referring to X minus M. So the expenditure approach, the most the common formula is CIG, C plus I plus G plus an X. Sometimes we call it NX or net export. Okay. But okay, you can refer to X minus M or net export or NX. So depending on which book or which slide that you refer to. Okay, so this is the expenditure approach. Okay, and then you can see there are 4 components: consumption, investment, government expenditure, and net export. So there are 4 components: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so how the consumption part, okay, is based on durable and non-durable goods and also services, and it accounts up to 60% of GDP. Okay, durable is barang yang tahan lama. Okay, goods that can last for several years. Okay, such as your TV, fridge. Okay, and then non-durables, okay, expect to last more than 3 years, such as food. Okay, goods that are consumed just once. So this is the common definition of non-durable, barang yang tak bertahan lama. Okay, goods that do not last usually less than 3 years. So this is the standard definition. And then also services, you can recall, okay, consumption is durable, non-durable, and services. So services are intangible. Intangible means you cannot touch the item. There is no physical object. So that is services. Okay, for example, car repair. Okay, you go to a mechanic and you want your car to be serviced. So the service that is provided is what we call intangible lah, because you cannot actually hold the service, okay, or entertainment. Okay, you go and watch movie, for example, so you cannot actually, okay, hold the entertainment value, okay. So, but the value that you pay is part of the service value, okay. And then you have C plus I, okay, investment. Investment is, okay, when you purchase buildings, machines, okay, inventory investment, sold of unsold, stock of unsold goods, purchase of residential housing. So whatever part of this definition is part of investment. And then government spending or government purchase, which make up another 20% of the GDP value. Okay, so when you say government spending, spending on hospital, for example, now during COVID-19, okay, government need to spend a lot on the COVID-19 thing, on vaccines, okay, on masks, on PPE set, okay, and other things, okay, and also for investment, gross investment on highways, bridges, and so on. On education, they provide textbooks, for laptops, whatever stuff that, as long as it is paid by the government agencies, so that will be part of the government purchase. Okay, and finally, net export and X. Okay, so it's the value of export minus import. Okay, so as long as you take the value, so NX or net export, okay, will usually make up another 25% of GDP. So, for example, a country like Malaysia that relies a lot on the external sector. External sector means the export sector. Okay, so for example, during COVID-19, where our export market, okay, in the European countries, when their economies are slowing down because of COVID-19, so we have problems to get our product sold in this market, okay, because when their economy is also affected, okay, they have less income to spend, so then meaning usually the demand for our export will also drop, okay, uh, so so our export will be much less during this economic recession period, okay. So as long as you understand this concept of C plus I plus G plus X minus M, so what is the component in C, in I, in G, and also the net export, that should be sufficient, okay, for you to understand the expenditure approach to calculate GDP. Okay, so in short, you can see from this slide, okay, the expenditure approach, okay, consists of C plus I plus G plus net export, okay. So these are the components that, so this example here, okay, just a simple component, you can see the breakdown of the four groups, C, I, G plus net export, okay. You can see import is negative value, okay. Net export means export, the difference between export and import, you get -4 to 3. Okay, so the component here is on what you see. Okay, this is the final value here. So C plus I plus G, okay, plus net export. Okay, you can see that from this 100%, 70% is in this simple example is due to consumption component, investment another 15%, net export -4% because import is bigger than export. Okay, and then finally government expenditure is around 20%. Okay, so this will be the breakdown of the expenditure approach, meaning C, I, G plus NX, okay, net export. Okay, so so this is the first method that we can use, okay, to calculate GDP, okay, expenditure approach. This is just another example that you can go through here. Okay, and then this is for Malaysian GDP, okay, just some data that you can see. from 2000, the comparison between the change in domestic demand from on yearly basis. Okay, so real gross domestic product. Okay, we will go through in the next few slides. Okay, when you talk about GDP, you usually you must convert. You must get in term of real value. If you recall from the previous topic, chapter number 8, when you talk about nominal versus real. Okay, give me a few seconds. Okay, so you can, in our previous topic number 8, okay, we talk about nominal and real value. Nominal is at current price. The real value is you take into account inflation. Okay, so the word inflation, when you see the word real here, so whenever you want to calculate GDP, economic growth, it must be the word growth meaning in terms of pratos or percentages. What you can see here, okay, when you want to calculate economic growth, it must be based on real GDP, not nominal GDP value. Okay, so uh, let me- okay, here. Okay, I'm skipping to this last slide, okay, but we will go back to the previous slide in our next lecture because I got a meeting that I need to attend now, unfortunately. But fortunately for all of you, I know the sooner we finish the lecture, the more happier you are. But it's not good actually because we need to finish one chapter in 1 week, okay? But I had to cut short our discussion for today. But okay, when I mentioned about real GDP, real GDP value, okay, whenever you want to talk about economic growth, it must be based on real GDP value. Okay, you cannot be based on nominal GDP. Okay, so this slide here, even though it is located towards the end, because the previous slides, the one that we will discuss later, is based on the income approach. Okay, but both, whatever approach that you use, okay, whenever you get the GDP value, you must convert in terms of real GDP. Real GDP means you divide by the CPI. If you recall from our chapter 8, okay, from nominal to real is based on, you convert from nominal to real is based on the CPI value. Okay, so to calculate economic growth, it must be based on the real GDP value, not nominal GDP. So this is that one of the things that I want you to understand at this stage of our lecture. Okay. Okay. So the part that I did not cover for today is the income approach. Okay. So what we have done up to now is based on the expenditure approach. Okay, C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Okay, so you can go through the some of the other slides on the expenditure approach. Okay, this example here. Okay, so you can go through them. Okay, and then okay, we will come back at the let me see. Okay, give me a few seconds to. Okay. Okay. I will stop our discussion for today. Okay.